Oh, why has the recording stopped when we're just about to start?
Shay, we don't record this one. We just live stream.
Isma Wobodi ready, just give me a heads up. As long as I hear our intro, I'll just roll down. And I would like, just after my short introduction, to play ngeka clip wako, aka busy moms or all-rounder housewives, and then try to get them conversation. Isma, are you okay with that?
Seka kaliwa konna. Seka.
Naka clip kinakuuliza akaliko mchana ali multitasking. Housewife ayetola agate ebintu omutwalo gumu.
Nakalabe nekakategedde.
Now, workload. Okay. Well, I'll do the introductions, but as long as we can have it ready, just give me a heads up. Take a stand, get program. We'll just start with a few people, allow some more people to come on. Inshallah. Our intro music here. Hello everyone, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Live on 75W Radio and live on Umma Connected on Facebook, on YouTube and on Zoom. Welcome to Come. Let's talk with me, KASSIM KAYIRA. Tonight, a very interesting topic following a decision by a Kenyan judge who has ruled in a court case, decided that Teresia Madheka says that being housewife full-time should be payable. Now, the question is, do you agree? Maybe within religion, say Islam, Christianity, Judaism, or even animist traditions, is there a provision for such a thing? How do we even determine what to pay a woman who is working 24/7? Do we actually agree that women, being housewife is a full-time job? If we do, should it be paid for? If we are to pay for it, how do we determine what is going to be paid? Should it be dependent on someone's income levels? Or maybe do we have other alternative ways in which we are able to do that? This is a conversation that we are going to be having tonight in our global community conversation with me, KASSIM KAYIRA, hosting this particular show from the noisiest town in Uganda, Wayale, especially tonight, coming to you in your different homes, wherever you are across the world. It's 8 p.m. in the United Kingdom, 10 p.m. in Uganda, and actually late elsewhere and early everywhere else. Thank you very much for joining this conversation. Like we do it always, this particular topic I think has come in as an interesting aspect that is going to be a point of conversation for many of us tonight. In some religions like Islam, though, there are provisions for people to be able to be paid. For example, if they decide to breastfeed for you, if you divorce a woman and if she goes and she gives birth, she's given birth and you have divorced, in the process, if she agrees to breastfeed your child, automatically, Islamically, within the Islamic Sharia, you should be paying this woman for looking after or breastfeeding for you. That's a service. However, if a woman is inside the home, some men are saying a Zaka Meza is adequate. It's enough. Once you leave money for the feed, for upkeep, it's adequate to act as salary. Should we separate the salary that is supposed to be paid to a wife, to a housewife, from the money that is Kameza money that is always left at home? That's the conversation we'll be having tonight, and I'll be hoping and expecting to have a lot of you coming in to actually put in your word, your feelings, your expectations. Would this actually have implications, huge implications across the globe in case such a phenomenon started spreading out? Is it something that is long overdue that we're supposed to have paid the women even earlier than this, that we delayed so much, we are coming to the conversation pretty late? Or is it maybe something that has been misunderstood? How do we start interpreting this? How do we deal with so many years in case this was a wrongful, non-payment? Do we now start reverting to look for the arrears so that we can pay the women for the money that they missed over that period of time? Where do we even start with the reparations? Just like slavery, where the Western world for 400 years nearly enslaved people, but this came to an end. There's been a huge debate about reparations or compensations for people who are enslaved. Would there be something similar, probably, within households in case we get down to this? Is there a way around it? Is there a comfortable way that we might be able to get around this? For the women, maybe it would be very interesting to hear your own suggestions about how much your work is worth. For the men, do you think you're actually happy enough to be able to cough out whatever is being asked? Many men are living in relationships where for more than 20 years, they haven't even paid completely the mahar. Some have died leaving mahar unpaid. How do we now reconcile this? That even when we have other outstanding expenses, we are now having to take up another very important expense, which is looking or paying our wives for being our wives. There has been a huge debate online, and when I posted this actually, particularly on Corporate Muslim and then on my Facebook page, the kind of reactions that came out actually, I think, speak volumes just in terms of the societal attitudes towards this. Someone was saying by default, some men were already paying their wives' salary. How? By giving them money for upkeep and also money for domestic use for the full month. But that depends so much on how much financially stable the man is. So it's subjective. Just don't know how the society will perceive this very delicate subject matter. And by the way, the dowry dilemma may crop up again. Another person on Facebook, on my Facebook page, says, if all men are to pay their wives for the work in the house, they would bankrupt. They would go bankrupt in just a few days, some weeks, or actually chip in with the work. That's from Tina Smalley on Facebook. And this one puts it in Luganda. For what? The role of a man is to fully take care of his wife, and if he's giving all that you have mentioned above, alas, that's it. Maybe he can give in a token of appreciation for the wifely duties that she does, especially if she's seated home, not working like the majority of you are here. But it's not a must. And still, those saying a man should pay for sex, then you first return the mahar that was given to you during nikah. How quite interesting conversation going there. And Hassan Smart on Facebook again says, very smart, very simple. A woman who will want to be treated like a wife in her home will be treated like that. But a woman who wants to be a salary earner in her home will be treated like other workers at home. She will have to walk up as early as other workers. If it means to shout at her, we will shout at her like other workers. If it means to sack her, we will sack her and let her back for another home to work. Astaghfirullah. And Mariam says, I don't know about laws, if you must or must not, but you all brothers, if Allah blessed you with money, give your wives money. It's for your own good. Let's open the conversation, because the way we do it here, it's about hearing from you, your own perspective, your own take. And where to start from? Let me hear from a lady first, and then I'll go to a man. Mix and match so that we can hear actually where we stand on this particular interesting topic. Either you are first in the classroom in the conversation tonight, I would like to hear your own take on this particular topic. Women to be paid because they are full-time housewives, paid a salary. What's your take on that? Happy or doubtful that it can be implemented? Ida, you have the mic. Hello, Ida. Right. While Ida is unmuting, I can see Martin Musoke, who is the first time to this conversation. Martin, I'm sure this is the first time I'm seeing you in this conversation. Welcome to the conversation. You can please press the unmute button so that we can get you talking. Martin, if you can hear me, please unmute yourself. Welcome. Thank you very much, Martin. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Welcome to this global community conversation. conversation live on 75W Radio and on Umma Connect. You've heard about this particular story, well, starting from Kenya, but spreading globally. Women to be paid because they are full-time housewives. What's your take? Do you think it's a fair game?
Well, I highly don't think that's really fair. And to me, I would actually, when I heard about it, my first thought ran to the rise of feminism and the rise of, women activists that are coming up. And this is highly being taken to a level that is quite something that I can say hilarious. Like it's totally insane. Personally, I wouldn't.
Oh, Martin, I don't know whether it's my line or it's your line, but your line is not very clear. But I can hear bits and pieces of your conversation.
Hey, it is your line. It's quite clear.
Hello, Martin.
KASSIM, it is your
yes,
line.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, the usual network issues. Martin, if you can hear me, I could hear you very briefly. I could hear you lightly, I think from afar. Oh, I think you're better now. It's saying my internet connection is unstable. Can you hear me, Martin? I can see you. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Right. You were saying that when you first saw this particular topic, the first thought that came to your mind was the issue of the rise of feminism. Why that? Don't you think the women deserve some kind of pay for the amount of work that they do, especially the stay-home moms?
Well, then we would have to get rid of marriage, the necessity for marriage, because that just eradicates the necessity and the essence of marriage. There, it just loses sense.
Oh, sorry, Martin. The line is really, really bad. I hope we can get it any better. Let me try to go to Mawangan and see. Oh, Martin, I think you have muted yourself, actually. You have muted yourself. Martin, I think the line is really, really bad. I'll try to come back to you if time allows. I'm sure we have the whole 2 hours to have the conversation. Imam Kasozi, oh, but the problem is my end. Oh, my apologies. Right.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I can see, I'm sorry. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I think I'm hearing that the problem is my end, and it wasn't Martin's end. We'll try to get back to Martin. Aida,
Okay.
you have the microphone. You've heard about this. What's your take? Should women be paid for being housewives as a full-time job?
Yes, to me, they should be paid because as you pay a maid to work in the house, even a woman should be paid because first of all, she's a mother and then she becomes a housewife to look after the house. She cooks, she does everything. So why can't she be paid?
Oh,
like
it's a
other
shame.
people?
I can hardly hear. Yes.
Did you hear that, Shay?
Umma Connected, can you hear me, or is it the problem again, my side? Yes.
I think Shay, you should log out and then log in back. Yes, we can hear you.
All right, sincere. We can actually manage to sustain this. Sincere apologies, Ida. My line just went off and I'm only getting back. Please, if you can unmute yourself again, just to hear you. I just began hearing from you when you're saying you think women should be paid because you think the kind of duties, the kind of the amount of work that they do inside homes is way too much to warrant that. What would you say to men then who say, we leave Kameza money and Kameza money should be able to cover that?
I don't think whether the Kameza money is enough because the woman has got lots of responsibility. That Kameza money, you don't know how women, they juggle that money, you know? That some men, they don't leave enough Kameza money. So you cannot rely on the Kameza money to pay the woman monthly salary for doing the house show. Because
now, how would we determine, you know, like, how would you determine the salary? How would you determine a salary for the housewife? You know, how much do you give, you know, on the basis of how much work is being done? You know, like for a housemaid, you can work out how much is given on the basis of your income level. How would you determine how much? Or maybe now seeing how much you do as a housewife, Ida, how much do you think are you worth?
To me, it should be between the two couples to sit down and think about, you know, they can discuss the payment, you know, that how much allowance you can get. Remember, she's a housewife, and then the other side, she's your wife. When you come back from work, you need service from her as well. Yet she's been at home doing all the housework. So she's gonna be doing double jobs.
Right, so but now where do you draw the line? Because the moment you start paying this particular salary, and Martin Musoke, I've seen your hand up, I'll come to you shortly. Unfortunately, I think it was my line that was bad, and I imagine it was yours. But Ida, how would you determine now, where do you draw the line between the salary that you receive as a housewife, plus the other, because now you're saying the man is also a husband and has husbandry duties, so buying you clothing, whatever, maintenance, you keep the Kameza money and you put the salary money. Where do you draw the line between what is maintenance and what is salary?
I think to me, two of you have to sit down and discuss this together, because women, they're high maintenance, to be honest. Because
yes, you are.
Yeah, because the thing is, we need so many things. So if you put the Kameza money and you think that I'll use the Kameza money to maintain myself in top of that, and then I buy the things, the necessity for the house, it's not going to be enough, sincerely speaking, because even when you come back from work, you need service from that woman. Surely she'll be tired. But if you pay me like my monthly allowance, I'll say, okay, anyway, he pays me. That means you care. Even if I'm tired, I'll put more effort, you know. It's like part of my job. But if I'm not paid, yes, of course, njakuyiwawo omubiri. Naye oba tonsasudde, ate otaddewo sente z'akameza, some women babaterawo omutwalo ogumu. Omutwalo ogumu gugenda kukola ki? Eri abatetenkanya abakyala. But mutwalo ogumu is nothing, you know. Ate nga gwe omusajja, kale tukikole the other way around, bakuleke waka for 1 week, okole emirimu, olabire n'obwana bwonna, ofumbe n'emmere, ate era omukyala wakomawo omuwe ne service ye. I don't think whether you'll be able to manage.
Very nicely put, Ida, and thank you very much for leading us into this conversation. I'm sure it's a conversation that is going to have two sides to it. It will be men versus women, and probably there will be men who agree with the women, but I'm sure it will be one that is kind of divisive depending on where one stands. Imran Shaban, you are one of the first people as well to join the conversation tonight. First time I'm also seeing you on this particular conversation, this global community conversation. Imran, I would like to hear your take. You've heard Ida. Ida says beyond just the amount of work that the wives do at home, you come back home and they're still providing a service. Your take. Martin Musoke, I think I can see you back. I wasn't able to see. I was trying to find you because you had raised your hand. I wanted to get to Imran and then I'll come to you. Imran, you've heard Ida strongly speaking about the idea of, you know, paying women a salary and as well as maintaining other stuff that the Kameza money being maintained on the side as well as a salary for them. Are you ready to pay the salary, Imran?
Yeah, thank you so much, Sheikh. Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear, yes.
Naam, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah, I want to take off from exactly where she stopped, our sister Ida. But then I want to conceptualize this matter and know that maybe we are getting the judge or the female magistrate out of context. If she meant maybe that, we should pay money for our wives, I think it would be wrong in that aspect. But to say that you have to reward your wife for the work she does,
yeah, but she was very clear, Imran. She was very clear. She was saying, yes. Sorry, go ahead. So go ahead. I was just saying, Ida was very clear that the amount of work that they do inside homes is way too much, that it goes beyond just the Kameza money. She needs that money that would allow her to.
Let me first make my clear. So all I'm saying is, when someone is married and they are with you in a relationship, either parties, there's something they really benefit out of it for the mutual love and support, and how marriage is supposed to be. So I believe, I can't say that it should be either way, but what I'm saying is, at least there's a reward a woman should get out of this all. Because that's realize for all the work they do, at least you've heard of bride price. I've not heard of maybe bridegroom price or something like that, where women have to pay men. So in the end is, the point is, women have some work they do. Am I still online?
Yes.
Yes, what I'm trying. Yes. What I'm saying is maybe we can have a way of paying women, but not like, that, I do something, you pay me. Can you do that like out of your own individual efforts, maybe as a reward? Or like out of part of your salary, can you do that for your wife if you can? That can be tremendous and something so good. But to put a value to it or to quantify it that, we should have this set of it, that would be wrong in my own opinion. Because even you see, all I'm saying is,
Imran, are you saying then that the Kameza money now would be able to cover those appreciative aspects that you're saying? Because Ida was very clear. She was saying the Kameza money handles a different topic altogether. My other fatigue and stuff now, there's this special care, this special appreciation that needs to come from a salary that is agreed between the two parties.
I get you right, but then we should not put it up, like a big figure for someone to afford, or like they cannot afford it. All I'm saying is, if there is mutual agreement over it, we can find a way of paying whoever feels should be paid out of this situation. But then what I'm making clear, what I want us all to understand is, at least there's a reward a woman gets. Maybe if I get this verse of the Holy Quran out of context, but then I know that, it's for example, that you're married to a woman and for some reason, maybe you guys have maybe like divorced. At one point, you have to pay her for even taking care of your child. I've forgotten the verse in Baqarah that says, and to the man, there's responsibility for him to provide sustenance for the woman. That means for food and even clothing. So there's a level that a man has to give support to a woman, whatever circumstances maybe they're in. But what I'm saying is, we should not put it out to a figure, right? We should have these dollars for this kind of work you're doing. But the point is, there's some reward a woman gets out of that in a relationship. So bottom line is, the reward you make should be something you mutually understand between you guys. And if a man can afford it, well and good. If you cannot, then obviously the discussion can have to be further on that regard.
All right, thank you very much, Imran. Martin Musoke, you were up initially and then the line went terrible. Do you agree with Imran? You've heard him, the way he puts it. He seems actually to contradict himself, because Imran on one hand is saying there should be a mutual understanding between the two parties, agreeing on how much and in what shape it can be paid. Yet on the other hand, he says if there is a salary, then it actually defeats the whole concept of marriage. Your take as a man, Martin.
Yes, personally, I'm not going to be in between. I'm going to say it point clear. That shouldn't be accepted, and it is totally immoral. Why am I saying so? As you get into marriage, yes, you do not sign up for something. Let's say you've signed up for you to do only housework and you're going to be paid for that. No. Why am I saying that? We are going to lose the whole essence of marriage. Marriage is going to become like a workplace, yeah? Whereby if a woman there makes a mistake and does not commit something that she's supposed to do, the man is going to come back and he's going to blast the woman, yeah?
But Martin, hold that thought. In marriage is not a punishment, and marriage does not mean that the wife is coming to come to your home to become your slave. She's leaving her parents where she was being looked after. She comes into your home. When you say that marriage now will lose its essence, help me understand. What do you exactly mean when you say marriage will lose its essence? When in actual sense, what is happening is that the wife has come to you to become a soulmate, not a laborer inside your home.
Exactly.
Ahead, I'm listening. Just wanted to lay out that clear.
Yes, thank you very much for clearing that point. You know, the wife has come not to become a laborer. But if we start saying that they are to be paid something, then that is clearly making them laborers. Yeah. If we start saying, you know, when you sign up for marriage, time is going to come whereby the man will also have to be paid for actually working to put something on table. So should we have to say that both ends have to be paid for something? No, totally no.
But as a man, you carry the rubengo, because once you get married, it's the man who marries. The woman doesn't marry. You know, it's the man who marries. And by you taking someone's daughter away from their home, you are bringing them there to look after them. So whatever you do there, regardless of, you know, how much trouble you go through, it is a responsibility that you brought upon yourself. Well, fulfilling a godly act, but at the same time, it was upon yourself. It is a decision that you made by yourself. Why should it feel like now a man also has to be paid for doing a service that he's supposed to do? So in essence, Martin, let me understand you well. You're simply saying it would be immoral to pay women a salary. Kameza money is enough, according to you.
Well, I don't want to call it Kameza money as such, because the era in which we are, yes, the era in which we are, we have women working, yeah? And this actually comes to bring out my point. The man and the woman are supposed to work together to ensure that the family is actually growing, yeah? So you cannot come and tell me that all the burden is going to be transferred to the man. First of all, he has to provide the Kameza so-called money, and on top of that, he has to pay salary to a woman. That doesn't make sense at all. I don't know if you're seeing what I'm trying to bring forward. So it means the burden.
I can only imagine. I wouldn't want to think for you. I wouldn't want to think for you.
I don't know if you're seeing that the burden is going to be transferred to the man, and the man is going to be like the basis of the family, and the woman is only going to be there as someone who is going to work for only the children and cook food. And what is the woman adding to the family that is not just taking care of the kids? Because the man may fail. In case the man fails, does that mean you can divorce? No, you're supposed to build each other. And if you bring up this idea of paying someone for being a housewife, that is going to just ruin everything, trust me. We already have something happening right now. We are going to have rising cases of violence in homes. We are going to have so many divorces. We are going to have so many breakups because the man has failed to pay the woman.
Martin, that's quite an interesting one now, where violence comes in as a result of failure to pay. The debt collection now, the wives now might actually have to engage debt collectors to come and make sure their unpaid dues are paid. And that, according to you, would lead to the violence. All right, thank you very much. Let me just involve more people into the conversation. Sharifa Twaha, I'm trying to get you to admit yourself. It's a lady, it's a man, lady, man, so that we can hear the different views to this particular conversation. Sharifa Twaha, if you can actually please unmute yourself.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sharifa, you've had Martin, you've had the previous speakers. We are talking about a salary for housewife. Salaries for housewives following that court ruling in Kenya, but which might have implications elsewhere. First of all, your take. Are you ready to receive a salary? Are you one of those who can't wait to have the money coming into their accounts?
Basically, on my own point of view, I would say it would depend. Like, sometimes you need to understand how much your man is earning and if he's really willing to do that, if he's happy to do that. But I wouldn't really have the idea of imposing it on the men to be paying the lady's salary. It's not fair because we're like, you're like a team. It's a marriage. It's not a contract. You have to work together to build each other. I mean, if he's paying you a certain amount of money, how are you going to be able to save and then build each other? Or, yeah. So for me, I don't
Aida
really.
is saying that it is appreciating the wife. Sharifa, Aida is saying it is appreciating your wife, and therefore by paying, you are actually showing appreciation.
Well, if you can afford it, then he can go for it. But I wouldn't impose it on everyone because some men, there's a way they can show they appreciate you without even involving money. So if somebody pays you and they don't respect you, would you feel appreciated because they've given you money? So for me, I don't really go for that. I don't buy that idea. It's totally not good. I don't buy it.
So what would you suggest? We leave it as it is. Kameza money should be enough to run homes.
Well, like I said, it depends on how many responsibilities that are needed at home, what you need to manage, what you need to prepare for the family, But it's not a must. We should just leave it like Kameza money. Okay. If he wants, he can give you whenever he wants to, or when you ask, or you might not even wait. And then, you might not wait to ask. Some people just give. Some men just give out like that. It shouldn't be a must.
All right.
It's not fair.
Right, Sharifa, thank you very, very much. I can just remind you that this is the Global Community Conversation. The program is Come Let's Talk with me, KASSIM KAYIRA, live on 75W Radio and live on Umma Connect on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Zoom, where we are at the moment. As for Kasuja, I'll be coming to you, and then I'll go to Imam Kasos as a community leader, just to sort of hear this and how it would play out. As a person who deals with families, with family issues, Imam Kasos, it would be very interesting to hear your own take on this and whether there are probably maybe precedents to this already. But I'll go to Hasfa first of all in the United States of America. Sharifa was in the UK where we spoke. Hasfa, you are a housewife, are you?
Yes, I am.
Yes, good to hear. Assalamu alaikum. Well,
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is a lot of sacrifice. Making a decision to stay home when you had a career and you decide, okay, let you stay home and take care of the kids. It is such a big decision because it is a huge sacrifice. But when you, Simanya, how it is in the UK, when you have to juggle and you take a kid to a babysitter, it's very expensive. Having that extra person, it's very expensive. It's a lot of responsibility. Then, Kwegamba, your portion, you have to work harder to pay that nanny and to pay, to be at home and be with the kids at some point in time. It takes a toll. But then when you decide to say, okay, when you sit down as a couple and say, because of ABCD, I would rather you stay home. I will work extra. And then we provide for the home. And then it will be easier to take care of the kids. Because especially when you think about times like winter, when and they get sick, you avoid all sorts of things like that. So the sacrifice you decide to make for these little human beings you brought to the world is always a lot. And another thing, when you, like for me, when I made that decision, there are certain things that I struggled with. Having some adult time. When I used to be at work, nobody never know, and you laugh and all that, and then now it is just these little human beings that are there in your face, pooping and feeding and breastfeeding and cooking, and then that takes a toll on you. But with that being said, when it comes to being paid, I'll go with Sharifa. I say it is a mutual understanding between a couple. Like sometimes we do it here. You have an account, ukugenda sente. So when you have that account, you apportion whatever the bills is going to have, whatever bills is going to be paid. And then no fiscal cases without someone having to say, I'm giving you a salary. Because Okunga Manti, I'm giving you a salary is like what you have to provide ABCD. It's like you're putting a label on me that I have to provide ABCD and E, that I am paying you, so I have to come home and the food is ready, you know? So for me, I don't know. So for me, it's you have a mutual understanding, you have an account, there's money on the account, the stuff that you need, just go take the money off and do what you have to do without having to say, oh, this is what I'm giving you.
Now, how different? How different is that from Kameza money? Because the way you sound with the pot, with that particular pot where you put the money which you run to when you need it, that sounds like Kameza money.
Whether you call it Kameza money, it is like money that is run. So it's like saying I'm sorry. It's like saying that money that's running the home. When you have an account, we have an account. We both have the same account, you know, and we use that account for the bills. So whatever is left. So if I want to go shopping, then that's really. If I need to send money to Uganda to my people, I don't have to say, hey, but then Saba, or you know, no, it is there, and then you all, you know, you use it, whatever way you all decide, you both decide. But if you say you're giving me a salary, imagine when I go to work. If I go to work and they do not provide the services that I'm being told to do, that means I won't get paid. So now when you are putting a label of me getting paid, it's like your expectations of what I need to do at home. You're coming with expectations that I have to come home, the kids are fed, the kids are bathed, the food is ready, I need you at night, I need you to provide services to me, I am paying you, you know? So to me, I say I'm with Sharifa. When you both decide, okay, this is how we're going to juggle the home, and if there's something left, use it, whatever, then that's fine. But the label of saying I'm paying you, I don't agree with.
The hard one. All right. Haspa, thank you very much. Aida, please unmute yourself. I can see you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Disappear because Aida might have a word for you. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Aida, you're on fire tonight. Yes, come in, please.
Sister Afsa, Jazakallah Khaira for your addition. I understand. But the money they're putting in the account you've got, it's like the Kameza money. Because some people in Uganda, what they do, they give them Kameza money. They will use that money, then they will keep some aside. So when they keep aside that money, when they want something, they'll get that money out and they will buy things they want. It's not coming from the husband, I direct that I've given you this, but it's the Kameza money. For me, my suggestion is, if you're not going to pay monthly salary, when you're giving me money for monthly for money for food, to be honest, you should put a little bit more, Don't say that, oh, I'm going to give you, I'll use pounds. Don't say that I'm going to give you 200 pounds to buy things. Just give me maybe 150 and then I'll buy all the stuff in the house. Then the rest of the money, don't ask for it. I'm going to use it for my necessity.
But how much is enough money then, Aida? It looks like it's a bottomless pit when it comes to spending on women. How much is enough? Is there any money that is ever enough?
Sheikh, there are things we need, and we are not going to ask the husband every time, oh, munange mpayo ngulekano. Now ogenda kubeera fed up, yono omukazi ambeeredde ki. So if you put that extra, I won't bother you. I'm not going to say that, oh, please, mpayo or sente wezi. Kubanga already wantereddeyo sente ku account. We've got an account. Uganda bakosa Kameza. Ne wano some people, they have a joint account for the house where the basasula sengom or they are in charge of bills. Kati ezo sente ziba zisigaddeko. That's your duty okubeera omwami nga buli ssaawa otoopingako. Kati awo wenzija n'enkola ki? N'engula bye njagala ne neesasula n'okwesasula gw'olaba kubeera nti naguza akagoye akalungi. Don't ask me where I got it from. Nakagyemuko kusevinga ku ezo sente zentetenkanya. Okitegeera sheeyi. Sigamba direct nti n'omukyala bamusasule buli mwezi ogugwako ne bamusasula. Naye bw'oba owaayo sente za kameeza. Kanjogere kameeza kuba most people bamanyi kameeza. I don't know kameeza, but I heard about it. Yongeramu essente ezo. Tobuuza nti ate kino kyagize kubanga sometimes abakazi bagula ebintu omwami n'olaba yaguze ekintu ekipya. You don't know where she got the money, but from yafisiza from that kameeza money. Okitegeera. Njagula ekintu ekirungi oga waguze olugoye olulungi nti ati munnanga akasente kenfissa. Okitegeera. So kakati bw'obuulira njagala nteeramu ka allowance ako as omukyala wo to appreciate.
Sister Ida, I have a problem is even thinking I even have to give an explanation. Shekeke. Nti wazije kuba bweziba weziri even account of egira bange etambula. It's like you know very well that I'm going to use it for ABCD. No questions asked. Era no yabuuza bannange babeera banze. We have a copy, I'm sorry. Gamba. Abeeramu obukopi kubanga oba okimanyi nti I have to kutetenkanya home and then nange I have to take care of me.
Exactly.
So obanga agenda nakunquestioninga obubeera bukopi naye okunteekako label. Imagine if the man goes and works n'ataleeta ssente waka, what are you going to say?
Nze mba njagala omwami ye yennyini yeeyiiza agambe omukyala wange si mukozi awaka kamwongereremu akasente.
Akasiimo oba omusaala.
Akasiima ako, that's what I said, to appreciate. I didn't say direct.
Ladies, the thing that we don't seem to be agreeing on, at one point is a salary, at another point is an appreciation pack, at another point is Kameza money. It doesn't seem to have a clarity in terms of the name. But
Kameza money is from other people.
All right. Okay, Imam Kasozi, you were up and then suddenly you disappeared. I don't know if you are there. Imam Kasozi, Assalamu alaikum. Imam, are you there?
Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Oh, it looks like I accidentally muted you again. Let me just send you the request to unmute yourself, please. Imam, come again, please. I accidentally.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.
You have had the ping pong, Imam, and you are a community leader. First of all, as a husband,
yes.
Let me hear your own take. Salaries to the housewife.
No, you see, the way I understand the salary, I don't want to make an argument basing on that, because the way I understand the salary is a salary is something paid for some service or some work there. I might want to look at it. What is marriage? That's number one. Possible for a man. And it was only it has been right. It has been nice. Am I on?
Okay. Yes, hello? You are now. Yes. Yes, I can
hear
you.
I am saying,
loud and clear.
Yes, I am saying I don't want to look at this thing is salary or not salary. Let me make my views, then I will conclude. Now, we have two world views. You see, we have two world views. Then the Islamic world view and the other world view of a marriage and responsibility are quite different. And the difference has just emerged. Before it wasn't. If I look at it from the Islamic perspective, where the husband is supposed to provide for all the basics, the basic needs, food, shelter, and clothing. Okay? Where does salary now come in? Number two,
Imam, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay.
I'm saying if me as a husband I am providing for all the necessities in the home, does it warrant for a salary? Two, this issue of Kameza, when did it come? You see, people talk of Kameza. Personally, I have never understood it because the concept of Kameza itself is wrong. Because it is as if it's the purpose, this money they call Kameza money is supposed that I have gone to work, look for the provisions at home, this is what we are going to use. But if in that home, me as a husband, I have already bought food, I have bought source, energy, source of energy is paid for. Now, what does Kameza mean in that instance? The reason why there is Kameza, as they are calling it, it is because those households are not able, the husbands in those households are not able to sustain the home. And the only way is, it is hand to mouth. When I'm going out there, I will have lunch there. You remain home, you will have lunch. Then you give them the 10,000 or whatever they call Kameza. Some actually don't even make 10,000 because they don't have it. So, but let us look at it from the wider perspective that if the man is providing for every domestic requirement at home, do we need Kameza? Two, if the woman wants a salary, should we keep her in the home permanently and not let her? That's why I think HOUSEWIVES has a very strong argument. Okay, you have to take a decision. If I'm paying you, wherever I am working, they want me to be on duty at a particular time for a particular number of hours and ensuring that I do the work as they want it done. What happens in the home? A marriage or home is a mutual. It should be mutual understanding. And therefore, if you are in the Islamic perspective, provide for the home all the necessities that they need. For the extras, like one put it, that if I want to give my people at home, okay, that is a business. That is a different story. The way I look at it and the way I have used it, I do it is quite different from many people think. I always look at my wife as a daughter of some people.
Oh, Imam, your line is still
and these people. Sorry. I was saying.
We managed to hear quite a bit there, Imam.
The way I look at my wife. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you now, Imam. Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, I was saying that my wife is a daughter or a child of somebody. And like my parents invested in me to maybe support them in the future, the same applies this girl child. The parents, if they took her to school and educated her, they think she should support them. So if I take her as my wife, then the responsibility, her parents, should be a shared responsibility now because she is with me. And sometimes we are handling certain things together. Therefore, when I am supporting my father and mother, equally, I should be able to support my wife. Doing that, then it will raise these issues. The reason why you see that women are asking for salary, it is because of the disparities in the homes, where one side seems to be very critically supporting and assisting and providing for his parents, and he's not caring for the other family.
Well.
And
now,
that one causes
as a community leader,
those differences.
As a community leader, Imam, do you think, for example, following this particular judgment, it was to start getting applied across the board, across countries, is it likely to cause problems? Was there a misunderstanding in this particular judgment by Judge Teresia?
Yes, unfortunately for me, I have not read the judgment. I wish I would get time and read the whole of it, and then maybe try to read the mind of the person who made this judgment. If you look at it critically, she made it basing on what she's seeing, okay? What is happening, and she made it according to the other world view, which I don't hold, caused the calamity to the age and the institution of family. Okay, that's where we have a problem. And until we go back to our values, to our traditions, the way they think a home or a marriage must be, we shall have a lot of these issues. So, as a community leader, I think the judgment is misplaced. To me, it is misplaced. Then I go for what I think Hasifa and another sister, I think, proposed, that if we think there is that problem, then let us have a mutual understanding of how we are going to run our home so that everybody knows what he ought to do.
And Imam, an interesting text here, I think, going on in the chat room. I think it's Crusaders 8:10, and they are saying here, Imam, I wanted you to react to this particular text message in the chat room, which is referring to Zahra. This is so interesting. My friend texted me and said for her, the husband said he can't leave it. That is the Kameza money, because the wife uses it for other stuff instead of house duties. But he can't even leave any penny for her cream. So the lady gave up everything, and even Kameza was forgotten. But marriage is still going on, though husband is doing perfect shopping. Some women are not bothered about the salary.
If the husband is doing what he's supposed to do, the Kameza money becomes irrelevant. Okay, the reason why Kameza money, KASSIM is there. KASSIM, you live for Naira Kameza money. You don't, because what you need in the home is there. And she cannot ask if she has something she will tell you, and then you understand. And one other bigger problem that actually causes this is because
I don't know if it's my line. I don't know if it's my line, but I can hardly hear you. Imam, I think I've lost you there.
I was saying
yeah, Imam's audio is breaking. I think I'm getting that from the chat room.
That
Imam, we'll try to get you on a better line.
Most of the problem that comes because if both of us are earning and each of us is not aware of. Okay, let me. We shall join later. Let us.
Inshallah. Okay, Ummu Salama, if you can please unmute yourself. Thank you very much, Imam. Despite the difficult line, I think we were still able to hear bits and pieces of that interesting conversation and whether this decision by the Kenyan court, if it was to be applied across the board, the kind of implications that would be having. I remind you that this is Come Let's Talk with me, KASSIM KAYIRA, live on 75W Radio, live on Umma Connect on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Zoom. And I am live in the noisiest town in Uganda, Boyale. Beautiful, but the noisiest. Ummu Salama, are you there? Talk, please. I just wanted to get getting his line clear.
Yes,
Salama, Yes, you're welcome to the conversation. I think it's the first time I've seen you on this global community conversation. You have heard about it. Salary for housewives or no salary?
It's actually not the first time, but let me talk about the salary. When we talk about salary,
I received that.
To me, it's really interesting because when you talk about salary, it is something you're going to negotiate. Then there are also other terms. Are there things like holidays? If there is a holiday off, is there maternity leave? Is there annual leave? Because those are things that we do at work. So what happens in the home? Will I also take maternity leave? We also take an annual leave. So I'm also agreeing with Sister Hasfa. It should be a mutual understanding between the two. Because if you're saying that it's out there to go and make money to ensure that the family is looked after.
So if we say that of the judgment, so we'll come to her. But Salama, do you think this is the result of the meanness of men that is leading to this request for salary? The men have become so mean that now it is becoming salary. It's becoming necessary to ask when it wasn't necessary in normal circumstances. Do you think that that is true?
Yeah, I do agree. It must be coming from that background that the men are being so mean. But again, if we impose it to them, I'm telling you, it is going to even be more hard. Because if someone thinks that they are going to take care of a family and then again pay you an extra amount, if they are supposed to reward you, they will feel like that the money they are paying you is more enough than to reward you for what you are doing. Because if that person is already mean to reward you normally, but then you're imposing them to pay you a salary, they will not do that. I really agree with Sister Sharifa that if a man feels that they can afford, then you agree and then they give you something. But if they cannot afford, let it be an understanding and everyone takes part of their responsibility. The lady take up your responsibility and then let the man also accept their responsibility. And like you said, it is from the background that men are mean or people are becoming mean that they're saying they should be paid. But if it becomes that they should be paid, it is going to be more.
Fantastic. Barakallahu fikum. Thank you very much for that contribution. Martin Musoki, I can see your hand is up, but Hajat Sarah Semakula was up earlier. So I'll just get her in and then we will bring you into the conversation. Remember, we're trying to see how far do we go with this. Hajat Sarah, you say you've got a snippet of the judgment. I did too, but maybe you can throw some more light.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I just wanted to read it for the Imam so he could see where the judge
and the others who haven't read it.
Sorry?
Yes. Go ahead, please. Yeah. I'm saying for Imam and the others who have not had a chance to read it.
Yeah, it goes like this, that the judge who was presiding over a matrimonial property dispute said that it was rather unfair for courts to rule that housewives have no significant contribution to the financial progression of a family. Judge Matheka opined that housewives offer full-time services at home and should not regard themselves as jobless. She further argued that it was unfair to use visible income and the mindset that one has to dig deep into their pockets during the marriage to evaluate their financial value. It is easy for the spouse working away from home and sending money to lay claim to the whole property purchased and developed with that money by the spouse staying at home and taking off the children and family. The spouse will be heard saying that the other one was not employed, so they did not contribute anything. Raising children is a full-time job that families pay a person to do, as well as cooking and cleaning. Hence, for a woman in employment who has to balance childbearing and rearing, this contribution must be considered, she said. So that was what made her rule that women should be taken to be employed when they're full-time housewives. If I'm to say anything about it, I think I would say that men struggle.
That's where I was standing. Actually, I was going to put it to you. Yes.
Sorry?
I was going to ask you your own view. I was going to ask your own personal take on this.
Yeah, I think men still do struggle, depending which society you live in. If you're in the West, where you find that they try all means to get some support from the government and even deny having wives in foreign countries because they need a council house. I don't know how they would even afford to pay you a salary when they even struggle to make ends meet. And for the case of Uganda, those who are well off really have no problem with that. I think you'll find that a husband will give you more than you need, and you don't need even to ask for a salary. And they will also provide house help, like we used to have maids and all, so it wouldn't be a problem. So I think it all depends to where you are, and is it really something a man can really afford? All that has to be taken into consideration. But I would rather say that if you are in a marriage, I think you have to sit down and discuss and see what is the best way for you to, to run your family or to do whatever you need to do to keep, standing. That's what I would say. Thank you so much. Salam alaikum.
Sarah, part of the conversation here is rotating around the fact that many men, part of the conversation before you go, Hajat Sarah, is rotating around the fact that many men have proven or have become or have turned to become so mean. And as a result of the meanness, that is even where the whole idea of a salary is coming into the conversation. Get away from this particular court ruling. But actually, the kind of support that you're seeing for some women coming out to say, we need a salary, it's coming from the meanness of men. Do you think by probably imposing it as a salary, it could turn away some men off marriage? Yes, Imam, I wanted to hear Hajat Sarah, and then you can come.
But if he supports, can it?
Go ahead, Imam.
I was saying, if somebody is not able to pay a salary to afford what you call the Kameza money, which is the upkeep for a home, will he be able to pay the salary? That becomes a bigger issue. Therefore,
is it me then, or is it Imam's line?
I think it's is your problem. Imam is okay. I can hear Imam.
Yes. Why we ask ourselves, why do we marry? Why should we have a family? What type of family should we raise? Okay. So
Imam,
when we reach that stage, then we shall be able to understand. But me as a person, if you ask me, is it in order to pay my wife a salary for just being my wife? My answer would be no. Because if I pay salary, and maybe me, I can pay salary and like that. But the many men that I know, if they paid salary, then this woman will be like even a maid in the home. Or a worker at some place. Because you see, one of in the African context, actually, why we have issues is because of bride price. People say, I paid my bride price, I paid for you, you are part of my property. If you look at much of the African traditions, especially where they charge or they pay a lot of that heavy thing, therefore in the mind, we should advise our people accordingly. I have heard the judgment, and when you listen to it very carefully, still it goes back to the problem I was talking about. The problem where men are not able to maintain or to sustain their households. If you reach that stage of saying, Kameza, what, is that still a marriage? Because is that still a marriage? Because if it is a marriage, then let us go to the traditions and say, who is responsible for what in a home? And then we handle it. Otherwise, the reason why our wives or the women are going to ask for salaries, it is because they are not cared for.
They're not looked after.
Simple things.
Okay. And Cascade is saying you're on point, Imam. It's like pricing a wife and adding money to that.
But I have told you, one is the biggest challenge. The biggest thing actually challenged why okay, Negative says there as men we have decided to hide what we earn, and therefore the woman begins to imagine she has money and she spies on you. What are you doing out there? And then the other thing is, if you also have some mistresses somewhere and she's aware of that or she suspects, then it becomes worse. So we need to go back, sit down and say, what do we need to do in our home? How should the marriage look like?
Okay,
who is
Imam,
responsible for what?
I just wanted to ask you one question.
What I would say, if what I would say is,
yes, I had that particular question, so I'll repeat it. I'll repeat the question just to be clear on that, which is, this is coming out of the fact that if you're going to get people even to start talking, for you to even place their Kameza money or whatever, the maintenance, it means the man has failed, like Imam Kasozi puts it, to look after the home. By declaring this, is there not likely to be more problems in homes, probably distancing young people from even the perspective of marriage, of getting married?
Yeah, my contribution would be that if we already have girls who have no men to marry them, I think it's going to even be worse. It's going to create a bigger problem because men today are looking for women who can sustain themselves, who are well educated, who have a job, and that makes it easier for them. Salaam alaikum wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. And it is 6 minutes past 9 o'clock in the United Kingdom, 6 minutes past 11 o'clock in Uganda. Martin Musoke, you have had a point that has been burning inside you. You can come on, please, and then we'll widen the conversation again, bring in more people into the conversation. What is that is burning, Martin?
Yes, thank you so much. I wanted to hint out the point of Kameza and appreciation. Yeah, I don't know, we are trying to divert and trying to ignore the salary thing with Kameza and appreciation. Yeah. Hajat, the former one, Sarah, came and talked about the mutual understanding, and everyone has been talking about the mutual understanding. Yes. And the fact that the women that are coming out are actually advocating for the salary because they are not being cared for. Yes. Now, that is a point that has to be maybe analyzed rather than us saying that we need salary, because I think from whatever everyone is saying, it's like they don't advocate for the idea of salary. Yeah. But now the appreciation part of it, how exactly does it have to be? Yeah, because as Haj came and said, he said men are also looking for women who can sustain themselves, women who are also going to add something onto the what? To the table. This is not the era whereby the men used to marry and the woman was going to sit down at home just to do the housework and be a housewife. Yes. So now that is the era that we are in right now. And if that's the era that we are looking at right now, the appreciation needs to be actually looked into. Yeah. If a woman is to be appreciated by the man, then we also need to question them for what they are doing at their workplaces. Sincerely. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Martin. Thank you. Fantastic. Laila Narubega, all the way in Uganda, in Kampala, I would assume. Laila, you have the mic. Welcome to the conversation, the global community conversation. We are talking salary for housewives. Would you want to be salaried? Hello, Layla. Can you unmute yourself, please? Hello, Layla. Are you there? I'll move to Farida. Maybe she's while Layla is getting ready. Farida, if you can unmute yourself, please. Farida, are you there? Farida, are you there? Or let me go to Janat. Conversation now is still flowing very fluidly. We'd like to keep it going as was. Quite interesting. I think I can see, I can see participants that have raised their hands, and I'll just get them to them quickly. Hasfa Kasuja and Aida N. Oh, okay. Back again. Yes, Hasfa, please go ahead. Hasfa Kasuja, please go ahead. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I just wanted to add on something Imam Kaswazi has talked about is the issue of bride price, and how much our sisters, if we say that they are going to be given a salary, of how much they are going to be on too much pressure, because a man gives you bride price and a woman cannot provide a few things. And then you hear, we have musasula ebintu bingi. Twagenda ne tubawasa tubawasanga n'ambaga ne bakulangira okuwasa embaga oba okuleetera bride price ebibbo by'ennyama bye baakuleetera. How about government muno, you're going to pay them a salary? Sikwe kwera kumacha, and these poor young women are going to be battered, there's going to be violence in the home, even if it is emotional, it's abuse, because he has an expectation. I am giving you money because bakujogera ku dowry. Titwamusasula ebintu bingi kati ate bannabamusasula salary. That is going to cause a lot of turmoil if it is to be done in some of the homes, especially in Uganda, where we know where our culture of bride price can take, people take so much. But when the girl doesn't have babies, when the girl cannot cook, when the girl is whatever, you hear how much is being said. I tell how about they put the salary on. I think it will be, it's dangerous.
Right. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Ida's hand. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Ida's hand. Well, I don't know what's happening, but I can hear an echo of my own voice actually appearing a few seconds late. Ida, you have the microphone.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I'm just going to add on a little bit. In the Quran, there is a verse where Allah puts a verse for, like, Nabi Muhammad say that when women have children, they need to be paid when they are breastfeeding their children. So how comes that in the Quran it says that women need to be paid, and then men, they don't consider that? It says in the Quran, you need to be paid when you're breastfeeding.
Yeah, that is a misinterpretation of the verse. This particular verse refers specifically in the case of divorce. If you divorce a wife who has had a child and is breastfeeding away from your home, then you'd have to pay for that. In which case, that would be a misrepresentation of that particular verse in the context of within the marriage. However, while I do not deny that a wife needs to be appreciated, in ways that might come across as payment, it does not amount to a salary, because with salary, it has implications. You'd have to consider a couple of things around the salary. And I think that's the problem that we've been sort of fighting against back and forth, trying to see how to get around appreciation as opposed to salary. Yes.
Shay, to me, my understanding, I think depends on the couple and how much you understand each other and how much is your husband, earning. That's how it's gonna say, okay, my wife, she does a lot of work. Let me pay her this, from the husband's perspective, because depends the husband, how much they are earning. Some men earn a lot, like £4,000 a month, You're not going to give me £200, yet you're earning £4,000, like a month. Or you can give me in the middle of the month, no gamba, you know what? Kankuweya katono omukwano, kuskasimo, okola nnyo, you know. If our men, they do that once in a while, it's not like agenda kunsasula omusaala, naye once in a while, n'abeera ng'akola ki? Akuwaayo akasiimo ako. Si kyateeka nti no olina okumpa buli lunaku bw'oba toyina, that's all right. Naye at least laga nti munno omulaba akola ki? Naye akoowa, you know, kabeera nga kasiimo, ye appreciation gye oba kijja oba kasiimo ye appreciation simanyi okitegeera. Nze kyengezaako okugamba nti omusajja alina okusiima mukyala we nti akola emirimu ne bw'omba si kyateeka nti olina okumpa omusaala, no, naye laga nti ki? Olaba byenkola, yes olina okungulira engoye, olina okugula emmere, that's your responsibility. Naye teekayo akalala kubanga nange nkuyiirawo omubiri.
Aida, bwe kiba nti omusajja already conversation yonna etandikidde mu kuba nti men are mean, abasajja bakodowadde. Going to ask this very person atajja ajje abeeko kateekawo ka appreciation coming out of meanness. Don't you think it's going to be a difficult conversation to be had?
No, gye bali share abagaba, gye bali abagaba naga mukazi wange yalekayo kukola. Wanji?
Badde mbuuza nti bwe kiba nti this whole idea yakasiimo is coming out of the fact that many men are mean. Don't you think you would have a difficult conversation with nti ogenda ga nti mutandika okutuula okulaba income then alabeka akuteerawo ng'olredde amaze okulaga nti obukodo yabusomera mu kiraasi?
Seetaaga kumanya sente z'ofuna. Seetaaga kumanya sente z'ofuna naye gwe nga gwe tuula muli mu mutima gwo oti Allah ogambe nti omukyalo ono mu butuufu akola nnyo anjiirawo omubiri n'akola buli kimu. Si kyateeka nti olina okunsasula naye omukyala bw'aba
Yes, but I can tell you the conversation is so heated on corporate Muslim where actually even language is now getting very angry. Yes.
Waba omukyala
I was just saying the conversation is getting very heated down on corporate Muslim where Fatuma Nanyodo says, what of hair, shoes, pads, sneakers, era byonna oyagala amale kugamba, give her money va mu rewards. Maina Kenya says, obusajja obukopi bwayite busaana kuwasa baana b'abantu. Because buli kye bukola n'akyogerera ne buba
abo basigaleyo abakugulira n'abakola akuwa sente z'enviri n'azoogerera.
Era wano waliwo Muwonge Bashir who says omusajja alina abuusabuusa mubeereko one day at home mubeetegereze bwe babonaabona from morning mpaka night ate omala omugambe nti amawale gange. That is definitely, I mean, one conversation that is going on. It's 17 minutes past 9 o'clock in the United Kingdom. That is 17 past 11 o'clock in Uganda. And we are still continuing with this conversation that has actually opened up, well, probably new wounds or old wounds. Maybe okuba nti balowoozaako mu kaseera kano aye nentumira ne ku bakyala abatakkuta abalina emmizi abatalina mmizi abatakkuta abaakamiro nabo Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala abasaasira bagirewo embeera eyo. Aisha Baleteriwa, you have the microphone. Welcome to the conversation. Salary or no salary for housewife? Aisha? In the United States. Mariam, Texas.
Sheikh, there's people's hands up. I don't know if you can see them. Sheikh, thank you.
Well, apologies as I was having a sip on my cup of tea. The microphone just decided to go off. Ndabiya basajja bazze kati, they are up in arms. Mayanja Fazil and Abubakar Gariwango. I'll start with Mayanja Fazil. I think you've been around from the very, very start. Mayanja? Sorry, I think the microphone had just gone off. Mayanja Fazil, you're welcome to the conversation. Or what they from the very beginning.
Yes, thank you very much, Sheikh.
I can hear a voice coming through.
Can you hear me?
Hello there?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Right. Mayanja Fazil, can you unmute yourself, please? Mayanja Fazil. All right.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Now, welcome to the conversation.
All right. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I think. Hello.
Brother Mayanja, we can hear you.
Yes.
Yes, Fazil, are you there?
Yes, you can hear me now.
Yes, we can hear you. My connection keeps playing up. Apologies for that. Yes, please go ahead. Mayanja Fazil, can you hear us? We can hear you. Not sure what is going on, but the network, I think, is playing up. Mayanja Fazil, can you go ahead, please? Mayanja Fazil.
All right, Assalamu alaikum.
Yes,
can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear. Is that Mayanja?
Yes, it is, please.
All right, fantastic. Yes, sorry about that confusion. My line kept dropping out, so it kept bleeding out. Yes, welcome to the conversation. To pay or not to pay? Your take.
No, I think it depends. So if at all in a home, both the husband and wife are working, I think there's no need to pay. But what I see is that both need to pull the resources in order to have the home running and also to fulfill their particular needs. But then there are circumstances where a man can decide and tell the wife to stay home, look after the kids and do all those kind of, housework and chores and that kind of stuff. And, like I decide to work and then,
would you call it a salary or an appreciation? Because I think the dilemma we've had from the beginning is whether to call it a salary or just an appreciation pack.
There are things that I would call a salary, and then there are things I would call an appreciation. So now, for example, if at all we've been paying someone to clean the house, or we have been paying someone to iron the home, or if I've been paying someone to do my washing and all that kind of stuff, I think if at all a woman decides to stay home and then she does all those sorts of chores that we have been paying for, like a house cleaner, someone who irons, whatever, ironing woman and all that kind of stuff, then I believe that that one can be a salary. It can be something small, but still.
I think your line.
All right, let me sort out my line, then I'll come back later.
Clear. KK, he's clear.
Oh, is his line clear? Is it the problem my end?
Yeah.
Okay, Mayanja, apparently you're fine.
Okay, all
my
right,
line that is problematic.
Okay, so what I was saying is that for the expenses that we run as a home, that we pay for in terms of like cleaning, ironing, washing, and all that kind of stuff, maybe even washing the cars at home, those ones, I think they should be salary based. Like you cannot have your wife do ironing and maybe laundry, and you've been paying someone to do that particular job, and then you ask her to stay home and not pay her to do those particular sorts of chores. Now, for appreciation, because most of us, everyone here, most of you guys have busy lives, and what is happening is that there's a breakdown in family units because parents, we are not spending more time with kids. So if you have one of the parents to stay behind and look after the kids, like most of the parents work day and night shifts, day shifts, and we see our kids for very, very few hours. So by having my wife staying home and looking after the kids, playing with the kids, then that's I would regard that as an appreciation, just to differentiate the two. So I can agree with salary, but I also, disagree to some extent.
My Fazil, you are just confusing me the more, because I think there's a very thin line between salary, appreciation. It's all, different things with a different name, all emanating from one particular situation that probably, if you were giving enough, maybe there wouldn't be a need for that. Abu Bakar Galiwango, welcome to the conversation. Your hand has been up for long. Apologies for keeping you waiting. Fire out, please. What's your take?
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. My take on this, salary or appreciation, yes. I think it has to be, from my side, it has to be appreciation. Because if you say salary and it is made a law, or it was a judgment ruled, and I think it will remove the element of responsibility, voluntaring to do something on someone's will, and common sense, and it will be like it is enforced in a way, and to some people to some people in different backgrounds, they may take it in another way, and the main element of marriage, being together, supporting each other, I think it's obvious that you have to appreciate your wife, you have to appreciate because there is no price you can put to a wife. A wife is the mother, and there is no price you can put to the roles that a mother do as a man. There is no price. There is no price. So,
are you ready though to pay in case a court ordered for that? Would you be willing to pay in case a court ordered for that? Because what has come out of this is, Mam Kastos was also trying to expound on this. Hayat Sarah Semakura did mention it from the ruling on this particular one. It looked like, with all the amount of work that women do at home, and especially, like in religions like Islam, I think a lot of it has been taken care of. Secular laws have also come in to try to protect, for example, in the case of divorce, because a woman, if a woman is a stay-at-home mother, she will not be earning anything, and therefore, when it comes to the distribution of property, for example, in the case of separation, it becomes difficult, because then the man will claim he was doing all the working, the wife was not working. I think that's the basis for this. But is it about, would you be willing to pay in case a court was asking you to pay salary? Since you want to call it appreciation, it's just a rose is a rose by any other name. But salary or appreciation, would you be willing to pay in case a court ordered? Of course, if you didn't pay, you would go to jail.
Of course, men will pay. We will pay. But then, as I said, that to some people they will think that this is too much for them, because maybe a man cannot support, has been abandoning even the Kameza money, and you put this law, and he has to pay the salary. So, and it might bring some effects as well, due to the fact that some men may start claiming for some roles at home, that I pay for this and I pay for this. So they an element of responsibility and love and caring and taking the responsibility of your family might lack in that sense, because they will start claiming that I paid for this, I paid for the laundry, I paid for you to do this and this and this, which is not good. I think the thing should go back. The best thing is should go back to the canon laws and the religious laws, the standards and the traditions. Take care of your family. in a way that you can, so that you can make your wife happy and your children.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Rather brilliant. Barakallahu fikum, Abu Bakr. That's a very nice take on the current situation going on or unfolding. A very interesting conversation about whether to pay housewives, since housewifing is a full-time job. Prasida S10, Prasida's S10, can you unmute yourself, please? Prasida's S10. Prasida's S10, can you unmute yourself, please? And Wesley. Is it Wesley or Wesley? Wesley, can you unmute yourself, please? Hello there.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, well, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You are always quiet in the Kamori there. I've decided to get you out to join in this very interesting conversation. If we have a shortage of men marrying our daughters today when there is no salary payment law, what happens when they start paying? That is from Sarah. Wesley, your own take. Would you want
Yes,
salary?
I'm sorry, I won't talk much. Sorry, every time you get me, I'm kind of like busy doing in the middle of something.
Right.
But based on this topic, I would go like there's no payment that you can give to a housewife or a wife, because whatever they do is quite more intense and important. Whereas, like, I had someone say that would they have like annual leave, like maternity leave? Of course, that can never happen. But the fact that because of the stratification in this in the society, men will always be on the top and the women will be down on the floor. Like, not to say it in a bad way, but that's how that's how it is. Yes. So because we are seen as people who are always like, we give in and we have to do this kind of jobs, and we are never appreciated on what we always do as women or as mothers. So in my opinion, I would say that there is no payment, but it's just the appreciation whereby your husband will come back and say, oh, thank you for doing this. And there is no money that can ever pay a housewife, to be honest, if there was to put any money. Because if I left my husband in the house and I'm like, could you do my job? They would definitely not do it. I'll come back and say, oh, please, is this what you had to do? Then I would have to come back and then do the same. So in my opinion, there's no payment that would ever go to a housewife.
So no salary to that effect in that sense. How do we compensate though now the women for all the hard work, the labor, the extra hours that they put in?
I think just being thankful and appreciating them all the time, because to me, I feel there's no like salary that has to be given, because it involves a lot.
Yes.
It's not just what we look at. It's quite a lot that they do than we kind of like get to see here, because we only think that probably they'll just wash the plates, they'll just do this, they'll just do that. But it's just even thinking about your own husband, thinking about the kids and other things as well as a home. So there's no salary that can ever be paid to a wife or housewife.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Wesley. Busy as always, but you managed to find some time.
I'm so sorry.
Be able to share.
I'm so sorry. I'm always in the middle of something and I couldn't be able to talk. I'm so sorry.
No worries. No worries. Thank you very much. Hawks, you've been sharing your contribution. Hawks, do you mind unmuting yourself, please? I'd like to hear from you if you're in a place where you can speak. We are already 33 minutes down and therefore 27 minutes to the end of the show. Hawks, are you available to have a conversation over this matter that is on the table? I've seen your notes in the chat room. Very beautiful conversation, by the way, going on. In case you're shy to get on the mic, quite often many people just get into the chat room and then that's where the stories actually start unfolding. Hasfagas would just says there wouldn't be enough salary to pay me because I wear so many hats. mother, cook, doctor, nurse, counselor, Uber driver, party planner, hairdresser, cleaner. The list goes on. And Martin says that's totally right. Very true. Wesley, I think, I agrees with her. And I like the ideology to be lowering them. To you, question, Sheikh, what can you do to show appreciation? The Mutuzako period. That is from Farida, who couldn't pick the mic, but she says the way to show appreciation would be not Komozako. And Hawk says, sorry, can't talk. Okay, we'll take that. Now, the bit on appreciation, I think, is one topic that actually, I think, needs a specific day, a whole day to just discuss that. Umma KAYIRA, I can see you there. Just to tell you, I'm deep in Boyale, the noisiest town, well, soon to be city, given the rate at which it is growing in Uganda. But trust curfew, it is now one of the quietest. There is no movement whatsoever. All the loud music is out. And the issue then would be, how do we, could it be that men, if women feel that they should be appreciated, that maybe it starts with the women appreciating the men, the kind of amount of work, the labor that they're going through. And as the reciprocity, then the men would find it easier to appreciate their wives, and therefore avoid this whole entire, series or circus of salary, but go into the appreciation part that we've been talking about. Umma KAYIRA, let me get your own take on this. What do you think? Do you want to be salaried? Would you rather be salaried because you give too much to the family?
Assalamu alaikum.
Are you there?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
I think the lady who just left said it all. There's no salary you can pay a woman. Absolutely no salary. You have to appreciate your woman, to be honest. They go through, first of all, the childbirth is one of them. The 9 months. No, I don't know whether people really reflect on this when they're in marriage and they don't even offer their wives anything. Whether they really reflect on the things that this woman goes through. The fact that wherever it is, wherever situation you're in, they are there, they are the planner, they are financial managers, I don't know, it's too much. Honestly, it's too much. It may not be salary, but there should be money. This is why I was thinking here, listening to everyone, and I'm thinking the millionaires and all them rich guys, they pay these women who stay at home. Why? Why do they pay? Why do they pay them? Probably someone has an answer, but there is value to it because you appreciate someone's what someone is bringing to the table. You appreciate, even if they're not working as hard as you are, or hard as you seem to think. I think a woman does a lot. Honestly, they need to be appreciated. No salary. You cannot pay a woman a salary. That's my take on it.
Would it help? Would it help then? Would it help? Would it help probably if men felt appreciated, that they would in return then appreciate and then probably would have a fairer situation? Probably the men are becoming mean and probably not becoming that appreciative because they don't feel appreciated. Do you think that's the case?
No, even if you're not appreciated, if you do understand, if you've grown and seen how your own mother has gone through the things they've grown, raising you up, honestly, you don't even want to wait for your wife to appreciate you, to be able to appreciate her, because already you know the sort of hustle they go through. This woman hustles in a way that you do. And now it's even worse that we women have to then do what we naturally will have to do, and then have to even do the jobs that our men probably have to do. It's really that we women are suffering, to be honest, for those who are suffering.
But I think men should not talk about this. So my women don't appreciate. So if you don't appreciate if you don't appreciate me, then I won't appreciate you. No, please appreciate your woman. And probably when you do appreciate your woman, it comes naturally.
Imam Kasozi, I had you bleeding through what you're saying.
Imam Kasozi ogambe ucha.
Imam, what were you saying? Have you get it what we call it? Am I that sort of man?
Imam,
I was just cracking a joke. Let us just continue.
No, I got the joke, Imam. I got the joke, but
the joke. Yeah,
yes, what I was trying to say, Naima, is right. Let's now try maybe to quantify the appreciation. How would we quantify the appreciation to the point that now a woman now would not feel, because since we cannot attach a salary, there cannot be a particular price that can be attached to this. How can we quantify the level of appreciation pack that would satisfy a woman? Is that dependent on each woman, or is there something that is general, probably, that could be used as the default setting across the board?
You can't quantify at all, but obviously you can appreciate according to your means. And I think women do look at, understand that and say, okay, my husband doesn't earn that money, but he tries. He tries. And if you have, for example, if you have more money and you give little, then I think you get the results. The results you get is also minimal. But women do appreciate, honestly. It's just the men who probably may want appreciation in a different form. But the fact that you come home, there is food for you, the fact that your children are fed, the fact that you haven't even been able to raise school fees this month, and I've gone miles to get school fees, that's appreciating the fact that my husband can't afford it, but I can do it. I can do this, and get our children to school. That's appreciating, you know? So for me, I don't think you can say, oh, how much can I give a woman to get satisfied? No, it can be as simple as something like paying for her, for those who love massages, or those who love, or paying for a particular thing every month or every the other 3 months. It doesn't have to be money, you know. So yeah, I think that's my take on it. There is no salary. Honestly, there is no.
Okay. Thank you very much, Hajat Naima. Janet Jingo, haven't seen you a lot on this conversation along these streets. Would like to hear from you. Janet Jingo's iPhone. If you can unmute yourself, please. Welcome to the Global Community Conversation. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
This has been interesting for me to listen, and I'm sorry I came on late. Now, yeah, in a nutshell, absolutely no payment to a woman a salary, and this is why. And with this, I'm assuming we are talking about a monogamous relationship. Assuming it's the wife and you're the husband. As a sikola sina any contribution that I'm bringing on the table, I would rather see my husband be open, and then we decide on how to manage that money. We can decide on saying, okay, the kids and the family issues, the rent, everything takes 60%. Then the other money, and it's about how we divide it, between the two of us. You can be there and you pay me a salary, or take a payroll and get a house girl. It's actually the meaning. Kati wendo was and to take our 60% zirabirira amaka gonna, then this 40% tuzigabane, mpe my 20% now otwale yo 20%, nze my 20% manye we najikola. Oba najigulamu obuzigo, oba nkolemu enviiri, I do what I do with my money, ne maliriza ebizibu byange and so forth. Naye ate bwe mba nkusanyusiza nnyo nzadde akaana biki, give me a gift, an allowance.
Nesobola kubeera awo neŋŋamba nti I'm waiting for this man to give me money. You cannot afford. Waliwo omusajja Dr. Phil ndooza mumumanyi yagamba you cannot afford to pay a wife ng'atudde ewaka ng'alabirira abaana. It is simply impossible. Kale n'olwekyo I think I cannot take a salary naye njagala ebintu bibeere open out there and then we decide. Of course that is the appropriate thing naye that is in a perfect world. Bwe bateri perfect world. And then there has to be a way the guy has to give the wife some bit of money. Omukazi abeere nga yeekolera decisions ze. Naye nga si buli kaseera mwami kino. So that is my take. No salary for me. Just, let's share the money, then it will get it out. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That is short and sweet and straight to the point. Mimi, if you can unmute yourself, please. Mimi, if you can unmute yourself, please. Mimi, are you there? I'm trying to widen the conversation now as we try to get towards the end of the program. 15 minutes to go. And a very, very interesting conversation so far. Mona, I'll be coming to you shortly. I wanted to check on Sharifa Udaya. Is it Sharifa Udaya and Suhunga? Can you unmute yourself, please? Sharifa Udaya. There was a thumbs up, or it was just thumbs up from Ida. Perfect, commenting on that. Okay, let's go to Mona Omar. Mona Amina, not Mona Omar. Mona has disappeared now. I can't see her. Other co-hosts, please, if you can see Mona, can you take her in, please? Her hand was up. I can't see her now all of a sudden.
Ngakwendi, salamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam. Mbadde kanya kunoonyeza bujibu.
Mbadde kwendi bannange mujje baliko mwasibeyo mutya mwenna abaliko.
Alhamdulillah tuli mu kusula busuzi kati waffe gusemberera omukaaga.
Weewaawo guno omulamu nno nga mulungi. Naye nze nno ŋŋamba nno kisinziira ku nnyingiza yammwe. Kisinziira ku nnyingiza yammwe. Yes, omukyala ewaka yabeera Minister of Finance. Ekyo kyo nga kisinziira ku nfuna yammwe mwembi. Waliwo omu nga takola, omulala ng'akola. Waliwo mwembi nga temukola naye ng'ate mufuna. Mulina emirimu emirala gye mukolera ewaka ne mufuna. Ne wabeerayo abalala nga bo omukazi akola omusajja takola. So, kaakati kisinziira ku ntegeeragana yammwe, communication yammwe wakati wammwe ababiri. Nze bw'oba onsasudde nga sikola, ng'onsasula nga sikola. Ate era kati nga katifu wano mu Germany, omukazi bw'aba takola, omukazi nga takola ng'ate okuggyako ng'ayina paperwork we nga takola, ayina social money z'afuna. Naye bw'oba omukazi nga takola, nga wamuwasa okuva ewaabwe Uganda n'omuleeta, oba oyina omusasula salary. Kuba gwamulabirira.
That's quite interesting. Eyo salary bagigenjinga batya?
Amateeka agensi gagenda gakyuka kusinziira wawoli. Kati nze wano ewange. Fenna buli omu afuna nange neefuna, naye at the end of the day bwe kituuka end of the month sente zonna bwazireeta n'akugamba sente zizo nze ekikulu kasita onzigirako eza airtime ezisigadde zonna gwoba oziteteekanya oba weesasulako.
Wamurogesa ki oyo? Wamuwa kadagala ki?
Yisaamuwa kadagala kuba mwesimbu. Bw'oba omwesimbu yo omuzungu bw'oba omwesimbu era akulabirawo. Nze gwali mukisa gwange Mungu bwange bwe yantegekera. Naye ekisinga obukulu kumanya nti ne munnoowo nadda ku bakyala abatakola abasiiba ewaka kutegeera nti naye yali yeetaazeeyo akantu kuba si buli kimu tajja kikusaba, ne ssente za paadi tajja zikusaba. Ate ng'eriyo abakyala ng'atya n'okusaba ssente ng'ate ayina
abasajja baba balinze babasabe ne ssente za paadi.
Yeah, so kiba kirungi nnyo n'omukwatirayo akantu buli mwezi oba omuwaddeyo emitwalo 3 oba 4 oba 5 okusinziira ku nsawo yo.
oba 10 n'abeera najjo tekibeera kibi.
Network yange ndaba etandika
kibeera kiraga kwegamba abantu abategeeragana kuba si buli kimu nti omukyala ajja kikusaba. Ne bwe yali agadde okugulirako maama wa ku kasukaali toliiwo oluusi oba ogenze nga ku safaari era alinde paka bw'onodda. Ayinza okutola kwezo oba nga tewali oba nga sukaali oba munnyo n'agulayo ku bantu abamu abategeera. So nze ekyokusasula omukazi salary, it's not so bad. It's not bad. Nze zange ayina ansasula wadde nga nange nfuna kubanga kimukakatako. Nina bingi nnyo byenkola byatasobola kukola. Era bwakugamba sente zizo zonna wamu gwe tetenkanya kati oba gwe weesasulako gw'omanyi. Owulidde so bambi nze ndikwaba abagamba abakyala babasasuleyo ku kasente wadde tewali sente esobola kumala. Teri sente emala naye akatono ako k'oba omuwadde akasiima.
Fantastic. Mona, I'll just go to Rehma, whose hand is up now. Thank you very, very much. In Germany, apparently, Rehma, you have the microphone.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Salary or no salary?
Salary. Omukyala avookwogera owe Germany ayogedde bulungi nnyo ansanyusizza nnyo.
Hello, Rehma.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, Rehma.
Rehma is clear. Shake candles are going no buzibu.
Hello, Rehma, you've gone quiet. Is that my side or your side?
I'm talking, Shay. I'm talking.
Oh, yeah, I didn't hear anything that you said.
Oh, sorry.
Starting again,
Ngambe salary. I said salary. Baba sasula abakyala. Oyo omukyala ava okwogera owe Germany ansanyusizza nnyo. Wives baba sasule omusala kubanga there's no point noleeta omukozi n'omusasula. Ate omukozi bw'aba taliwo tomusasula. Why? We work so hard. Tubeera abaka n'okola kino n'okola kiri. At the end of the day, abasajja abamu sente ezimu baziwa bamalaaya basasule abakazi baabwe basasulwe, period. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam. That is tough.
Seka Kayira.
Imam Buja Sebo, go ahead.
Bwaba omukozi atolo tiba agambye kwagambye nti nsubira nti today mu etiquettes ne ethics z'obufumbo. Otherwise we tunafuula obufumbo nti gufuuse mulimo gwe tugenda ng'abagenda okupakasa. We want to solve.
Imam Gori,
maze kwendi naye mbadde ensonga yange gimaze
ensonga etegerekese atandika okubitabika tuluzinga essence eri. Waliwo ekinyegege obwedda awuliriza naye gy'abadde atudde mu kasonda senior student naye afunye akamunyigiriza naye wano Umusalama Arafa says banaye n'omusajja akuwa kasente nga tomusabye anyuma. Wouldn't want that. Farida says openness on both sides. I agree with sister speaking. It's the same with my husband. At the end of the month, he brings all his earnings and we budget accordingly. When Ismail Mugisha, you have the microphone.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
What an interesting conversation.
Yes, it has been.
Personally, the sister who has just come up, I kind of disagree with her because I wouldn't afford to pay my wife for the thing that she does for me every day.
Yeah.
So when you say to pay, to give her a salary, how much would I pay her as a salary really when we come to a salary? I would think that, as they say that her money is her money, my money is our money.
I say her money. Her money. What is the
Her
money?
money is her money. My money is our money.
Ismail Mugisha, just for argument's sake, are you sat next to her? Is
Not
she there
at all.
listening?
Not at all. She's
Okay.
no.
I thought you were buying a favor for tonight.
No,
Not
not at all. Not at all. So when it comes to paying her, I don't think I can afford to pay her, even though I
Ismail, go ahead.
Even though I worked for 48 hours every day, which we don't have 48 hours, I can't afford to pay her. So I would think that just a mutual understanding that I give her, I mean, whatever she wants, I provide, and life goes on. Otherwise, when you start saying that salary,
Do you
it will
provide?
become very, very difficult, and we start having issues. So I would think that our sisters should actually, issue of salary should not come into this conversation. Let's say, okay, I appreciate you. I do whatever I have to do for you. Because my money is your money anyway. So I don't see where paying you a salary comes in. That is my submission to that. Because I can't afford to pay. I can't afford to pay her.
We can never afford to pay our wives. Actually, if you look at what they do, honestly, I mean, the more you talk about it, the more you suddenly realize how much goes into their effort. Sometimes fast up, and then oftentimes last in or last down. And therefore, it's very, very difficult. But I think the problem is now we have lost our religiosity. Definitely probably wouldn't be having this conversation at all, because people would have their responsibilities, would have our appreciation, and once the appreciation pack is adequate or is enough, or whatever quantities it is in, I'm sure probably we would be avoiding situations like that. I'll probably have two more people and then we'll be closing the conversation. What a very interesting conversation it has been. One that actually is just bringing in, all the different facets, but it narrows down to nearly two very important points, which is the conversation or communication between the two couples, husband and wife. That is where you sit, mutually agree, and so on. And then two, level of appreciation, because the moment you appreciate, you don't even have to be reminded. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can put us amongst those who can appreciate and be appreciated, because I think it's two ways. Janat's iPhone, Janat, please, if you can unmute yourself. You'll be one of two or three people now going to have the last word as we wrap up. Janat's iPhone. Janat's iPhone, do you mind unmuting yourself? Farida. Farida, I don't know if you've had a chance. I need some more men now. I think we've had quite a number of women. It will be interesting to hear from the men, actually. It looks like it's more women around. TCL 10 5G. Oh, TCL 10 5G. TCL 10. Can you unmute yourself, please? TCL 10. Okay, I'll go to Sharifa Udaya. Looks like we are wrapping up now. People are getting tired. Sharifa Udaya and Subuga, I think it is. Sharifa, or is it Shalfa? Shalfa, are you there? Just just wrap up with the last ones now. Imam Kassos, I'll just bring you back in so that we get to wrap this up, simply because, and that's from a perspective, again, leadership within communities. Where are we failing so much to the point that we are getting to this? Have community leaders like you yourself failed probably to get to the heart of the problems that are facing the society? Imam Kassos? Was he disappeared? I thought I had him. I was so certain I had Imam Kassozi. There's Faisal Muonge, who has been around since the start of the conversation, but I'm unable to get him on. Faisal? Faisal, I think your mic is off. I'll go to iPhone. iPhone, just have 2 minutes now to wrap up. iPhone. And last word, I think, goes to Janat's iPhone once more. Second chance. All right, looks like we won't be able to get. Oh, there's NK here. And I can see Chance K, who might NK or Chance K now. NK, you mind unmuting yourself, please? NK. Hey, subhanallah. But the salary, Hajat Zamzam. Hajat Zamzam, probably you're the person with the last word now. Hajat Zamzam, go with them Kamori, via to Unzike, a conversation yechiro charero. Hajat Zamzam. All right, looks like we don't have any. Ghana, for example, now it's nearly midnight. Actually, it's clocked midnight right now, which is pretty late, especially for housewives who are supposed to be inside their homes. And I can see one hand that is up. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Nam, who is that?
It was
hello there.
Chance. I gave them a mic.
Is that Chance K? Yes, Chance K is up. Chance K, you have the last word actually as we are wrapping up. I was just about to close the show. Chance K, you have the mic, please. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum
Yes,
assalam.
sir. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you.
Hey, as we wrap up now, you've had the entire conversation. You've had the women up in arms. You've had the men who have come in support and some not necessarily in support. Your take, please.
Unfortunately, I haven't been on the real conversation, but my question is the applicability of this judgment could be best in Africa, I would say, African setting. But if we come to Europe, whereby there is a lot of gender balance in terms of income generation or how much each earns, how can this be applicable? Would women be willing to pay husbands? For instance, if I'm a man and I'm sitting home and the lady is the one working, will she be willing to pay me? That's the gist I want to hear from you. What's your take?
Well, my take would be, in the first instance, then you lose your being a man. Because what makes a man in that particular sense is your ability to marry. Men don't get married. Women get married. So men marry women. The women don't marry men, except in societies like Indian societies or Asian societies, in India specifically, where, for example, almost the dowry has to be paid by the girl's family to the man's family. That's the only situation you would have a situation like that. But as a man, then if there are laws like that, then the government would be able to cater for you and not the wife. Because the moment you get yourself to be paid by your wife, then actually you lose your status as a man. Because there are particular things that make a man, and some of those are the ability to deliver. The Prophet ﷺ, for example, in the case of Islam, says, "Man istata'a minkum al-ba'a falyatazawwaj." He was speaking specifically to young men, and he was saying, "Oh, young men, whoever has the means, that is financial and physical means, to get married, then let them get married. فَمَنْ لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ فَلْيَصُومْ." And whoever is unable to have those two things, then they should fast, because in fasting, it will hold their chastity together. So for a man, what constitutes a man is that ability to marry, and that's your ability to hold the home down. While you might be, a stay-home dad might mean probably you're working from home, which is different from being a house dad.
But KK, let's look at the reality here. To me, I've not read the judgment, but if the judgment is based on, because the wife is on zero, I'll term it like zero grazing, she's best home, she doesn't work. If she expects a payment in terms of salary, then she sees as being a wife. To me, that's what I understand, because a salary will come on with terms. If the terms are compromised, then there are repercussions. They either have to cut the salary, or then the contract may be cancelled.
Maybe reviewed.
That's how I see it.
And I think, Chance, that was really the gist of tonight's conversation, where it has become clear. It is difficult, even if we wanted, to quantify how much we can pay our wives, given how much they go through. Because there are those visible things that we can see physically, but there are lots of invisible things that happen. For a person who is married and you have a wife around home, let that wife go away for 1 week and suddenly realize how you get into, a whole mess. Certain things just are in order, and you imagine they are in order because they are in order, until someone who has been ordering them about disappears or goes away. Then you appreciate that. So that's why I think tonight's debate, tonight's conversation has narrowed down to the fact that there cannot be a salary attached. There cannot be a price attached. There is no way we can quantify how much you can pay to a wife as a salary. However, you can show appreciation by doing all the different things that can be done. Just because we're out of time, I'll just wrap this up with a message though that came from Major Juma Hanifa. Juma Hanifa, who says, she raises a very painful question. She says, Assalamu alaikum. What does religion say about a man who goes looking for women who have some money and gets married to them and then dumps them with children? While still they look for women who even have their houses. And someone has confirmed that such many cases are many in Uganda at the moment. But the purpose of women can be married for anything. The Prophet ﷺ says a woman can be married for a number of things. Her wealth. So marrying a woman because she's wealthy is not a problem. Or her lineage or her faith. But the problem is if you come with the express intention of marrying for her wealth and then steal from her or dump her after you've had children, then that actually now goes into the purpose, in the intention. The Prophet ﷺ says, إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ وَإِنَّمَا لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مَا نَوَى. All actions are judged by intention, and everybody will be rewarded according to the purpose or intention that they set out to do. So for such a person, it might be now down to them with their Lord. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might punish them for the decision that they have made, especially if they are targeting women, because quite often rich women with children, rich women with a lot of access to money, you find that what happens then is they become vulnerable. They are looking for love, and these people find ways and know better ways of how to access their hearts. They hit and take their hearts, steal their hearts away, leave them in serious emotional damage. That would be a crime, even within religion. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us better husbands. Someone is saying, what about domestic violence caused by those unnecessary payments? Well, that is part of the problem, that in case we get down the line of getting salaries, even failure to pay those salaries now might call for a bailiff to come and collect the money, and you know what could come out of that. But the domestic violence that might also result from someone feeling that they have, the opportunity, they had the chance, they are paying you, and therefore they think they own you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, protect us and save us from such situations. We just need to go back to the basics. Every religion, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, it is difficult to find a religion that is going to condone or to condone, hurting or lack of appreciation or meanness in any set or form. Therefore, I can only thank you very, very much for tonight's conversation, a very beautiful conversation, and make sure you keep it. Let's come, talk, come, and let's talk with me, KASSIM KAYIRA, live on 75W Radio, live on Umma Connect via YouTube, Zoom, and on Facebook. I can only say thank you very much and have a good night. Inshallah, until next week when we meet again, bi'idhnillah, with a different, interesting topic. This is your global community conversation. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.